All right. Let me put this microphone in front of me. All right, people. Now, apparently, Terrence Howard, Iron Man, the first roadies from Iron Man. Saw him on Empire. You see him in a whole bunch of things. He was in a really good movie that my wife likes to watch with the kid with the guitar who could sing and parents and all that. I forgot the name of the movie. But he said some interesting things on Patrick David's podcast here. Now, for the most part, this entire podcast, he's going into some weird astrophysics territory, quantum physics, all that, quantum mechanics, all that nonsense. I can't challenge him in on that. That stuff was way above my pay grade, way above my intellect level. But my feeling on all that is, go ahead and who says anyone has a single barometer of truth when it comes to that field? You know, everything should be permitted. Question everything. Everything is permitted. If you guys are Assassin's Creed fans, you would know what that meaning means. So that saying means, rather. But he said some interesting things about Hollywood. So that's where I'm currently at right now. This is towards the end of this podcast. If you guys want to see the podcast without my commentary, I will link it in the description of my of this video. I would recommend probably fast forwarding to this point right here if you don't want to get involved in all the other stuff, the quantum mechanics, all that stuff and everything. But you guys do you do you. So let's get off into it.
Just coming in, they remember after we did the first one and it made $1 billion.
And by the way, this is him talking about Iron Man because and if you guys don't remember, he the reason why he's not in Iron Man allegedly is because he wanted more money and he didn't get it, so they went on ahead and got Don Taylor, which by the way, in my view, he played a better roadie than Don Taylor did. But let's keep going.
They still came to all of us and was like, oh, you know, I know we're supposed to pay you $8 million for the next one, but we're gonna, and we did a 3-picture deal. We're gonna let you come back for $1 million for 1/8 of what we, even though we had a success with what we did. We're gonna let you come back for $1 million. Let you come back. They did that to all of the actors. Marvel came and did the shakedown on every.
Why would they do that?
Because they can.
Yeah, but when you think about movies like that, don't you think like the main guys make 10, 20 million on per picture?
Later on they do. Once they get the lock in, Robert was smart enough because I bet you by the third one, he got his 20 million. You know, and I can't fault him. He, you know, the shit that happened to me happened to me. That's just part of the business. You know, it eats you alive. It's not mean. It's just the nature of the monster.
So you were only in one of the Iron Man.
Just on one.
And what caused it not to come back? Because you were.
They said they were going in a different direction, in the character. Because my character was supposed to take over the franchise, but Robert did such a brilliant job that they were like, okay, that's why they hired me first. Because my character was supposed to be Rhodes and was supposed to take over. So that was the most important part of it. But with the work that Robert did was so phenomenal. I mean, I became a fan of his for life, but he was so phenomenal that they allowed him, that he was able to continue that walk.
So the second one, Rob, what does it say? That
$10 million up front.
To who?
To Robert Downey Jr., as well as back-end deals tied to the film's performance. And then for the third one, salary of $10 million with total earnings reportedly reaching $50 million.
And now with regards to Robert Downey Jr. and them coming in with on hands and knees to him to come back to become Dr. Doom. Let's just say his entire, maybe the second generation of his family is well taken care of. They backed up a truck.
After which include profit and participation.
Man,
I will say he earned it. I'm not mad at him. I should have watched my back door. I was so busy trying to help other people. I should have watched my own back door. And that's,
by the way, that's a little bit of foreshadowing right there. But let's continue.
A lesson that you've got to learn. You just can't take it personal.
Terrence, you work with a lot of guys in the space. Who was one where you were enamored, where you're on set and you're just watching, saying, "What was this all about?" Who shocked you a little bit?
Oh wow, that's a big question. That made me just sit there and take notes. Nick Nolte was the only one. Every take he came in, we applauded him. We gave him a standing ovation. Every take, every single take, because he was so dynamic in what he was doing. I've never met a better actor in my life that just shuts me up. I'm like, okay.
Nick Nolte was in the movie Warrior with Tom Hardy and Gavin O'Connor, which I love that movie, but he was also in Blue Chip.
Blue Chip. Yes, he was the coach in Blue Chips. Yep.
Wow.
Blue Chips is a good movie, by the way.
My favorite performance of him is what he did in The Hulk. That conversation that he was having with Eric Bana, the conversation he channeled everything. He never hosts anything that.
Yeah, he was actually really good in the Hulk. The Eric Bana Hulk is very underrated. Very underrated.
No more. Joaquin was taken off. He's in a place where the disbelief that I can't do anymore because I've been rooted into trying.
So what's the first time you met him?
With who?
Joaquin.
Joaquin was when we were doing. He was nominated with me when we were doing. He was nominated for Walk the Line. I was nominated for Hustle and Flow. So we were in the whole.
That's the first time.
That's the
Did
first
you guys
time.
ever do anything together?
No.
Never have.
No. It was me, him, Heath Ledger. He was in the run with us. It was Philip Seymour Hoffman running with us.
That's the same. What
And two of those people are dead.
I know.
Out of the five, yeah.
Wow.
Out of the five, that was us. So, there's a short life in.
Why do you think that is with the creative side?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far, Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man.
What I say about that foreshadowing when he was talking about I wasn't watching my back door. Now, in that particular situation, that's why I bring up the word back door. What do you think he meant by man card? He mean a lot of the men in Hollywood, they're expected to prostitute themselves just like the women. You got to give up that booty. You got to wear that dress. You got to kiss that other dude over there. It's just like, And I agree. You give up your manhood. No. Let's continue.
A man don't take it. A man gives it.
Yep.
Tax Act doesn't expect you to have all the answers. That's why we've got experts on hand who do.
So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time.
Yep.
You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it.
Exactly. When you go down that road, now this is going to be a controversial, and it shouldn't be a controversial or anything like that, but one of the big lies that the LGBT movement would tell for years is, "Oh, I was born this way. I was born this way. I was born this way." Of course, that was meant to shut down debate and everything like that. Because hey, if you're born that way, well then we have to make it acceptable, accept your lifestyle. When there's so many people who are born with all kinds of maladies, but we don't sit there and try to normalize the malady or try to build around it. Most of these people are drafted into that lifestyle. And when he's talking about manhood, most of these men that are going into that, they're heterosexual until one of these perverts get to them. And then they have their way with them. Oh, it's only one time. Or it's only one scene. It's only acting. No, it ain't. That's the reason why the actor Neil McDonough, he has explicitly said he will never participate in any type of romantic scene with a woman, because in his mind, and he's he's right about it. In his mind, he considers it cheating on his wife, and which it is. It is. It may be acting, but when you see those guys act out those sexual situations, it's very intense and it's realistic, isn't it? You let another man get behind you like that, you ain't a man anymore. Sorry. Doesn't matter how. And this is what some Stevie Knight said on his video, but I've been saying it for a long time. But I'm not as big as Stevie Knight. Doesn't matter how tough you are. Doesn't matter if you can whoop ass, or you could bench 900 pounds, or deadlift 1,000 pounds or whatever. Doesn't matter how masculine you sound. The minute you let a man behind you like that, like Terrence Howard said, a man gives, he doesn't take. If you taking it back there, you've womanized yourself. Let's continue.
That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did
P.
all
Shitty.
those things, thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. And you should have a greater desire than being a man. So,
by the way, I love that line right there. There should be no greater desire than being a man. I love that. I love that right there. I mean, I used to think Terrence Howard was soft because, again, he was an empire, and of course he's starting along with Jussie Smollett. And we all know that Jussie Smollett is he's a sassy Negro, sassy light skinned, half black, half white. He's not a Negro because he ain't fully black, but he's sassy, homosexual and all. I used to think that Terrence Howard was soft like that, but now I'm listening to him right here. I agree with every word he said, what he's saying.
I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
Man, I mean, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head.
Nope.
They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that.
Yep. What are you talking about? You want them to be? You talking about they need conversion therapy? Nah, he ain't talking about that. But of course, they always, everybody has that voice in the back of their head, and you got to tell that voice to shut up in order to live a good lifestyle. That's why a lot of these people run around mad and angry. So why are you mad? Why are you angry? I mean, they're mad that we don't accept trans rights, or that we don't accept that men can become women. We don't accept the homosexual lifestyle and everything like that. Well, if your life is so good, you shouldn't be worried about what other people think about you. I don't worry about what other people think about me. And people think all kinds of shit about me. At least in my personal space. But he's exactly right. You need therapy. You need help. I'll go even further. You need Jesus. And I'm not a Christian. But a lot of people that have those types of demons and everything like that, the only way that a lot of them get rid of it is by going back to Christ. Going back to Christ.
That's the thing that hurts them the most, and so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of.
Try to kill those demons.
There are, and that's what the business does. The women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men.
Mm-hmm.
We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because their aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
Yep.
Hey, did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the
Hell
consequence
yeah.
of
I
when you
mean,
said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to.
P. Shitty.
He wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music and sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with.
P. Shitty is a shitty ass individual. He's a predator. That dude should rot in hell for what he did to Justin Bieber. I mean, my goodness. My goodness.
With somebody. A number of producers coming to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off, or talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing. And I've lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit. Because the man card means everything.
Yep. And Cat Williams was like, he was right last year, but it seems like a lot more shit still coming out in 2025. And like last year, Cat Williams on the Club Shay Shay said, all truths will be revealed in 2024. Well, there's a lot of truths still being revealed and everything. And of course, Cat Williams always saying, hey, they always trying to get the black man into the dress. And the minute Terrence Howard said, I'm not going to do any type of gay roles or anything like that, all I think about back to is Anthony Mackie on Black Mirror. I really like that series. There was some really good episodes on there. The one with the black and white Terminator little bots and everything going around killing people, that was a really good episode. But I got to that episode, and that basically in that episode, he and this other black dude are playing as VR. They play a VR game. It's a fighting game, and they're both in the avatar. One's the female, the other one's male. They don't know who's who or anything like that when they meet in person. Let's just put it this way: Anthony Mackie, he kissed the other dude. I didn't even get to that part because I started reading the synopsis and I started figuring out where everything was leading. And I said, nah, I don't want any part of that. I don't want any part of it. If something is explicitly LGBT, I don't want any part of it. I don't even watch it. I don't even touch it. And he comes years later talk about how masculinity is dying off and all that. Okay, well, just juxtapose that with you going out there kissing another dude on the lips. Yeah, when I see you as Captain Black African American, that's one of the first things that pop up in my head. Like, dude, you how you gonna play a tough role or a masculine role like that when I'm in the back of my head, I'm thinking, dude, you kissed another dude on TV. You gave in. You put on the metaphorical dress. So yeah, that's Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard was dropping some wisdom nuggets. That line right there, that he said there shouldn't be any greater desire. There shouldn't be any a greater desire than to be a man. Let me quote him correctly. Let's.
I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors. Whatever.
Oh God! Here, hold on one moment.
I was born here in Arizona. I was raised in.
Get out of here! Nobody cares. I'm trying
To
to.
go and get the role. They get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money.
We got to get to. Let me get to that line again.
They got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
Well,
Give up your thing for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody.
let me see. Hold on one moment.
Gain something. When you give up that man card, right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things. When you give up those things,
Yeah.
whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. Back from. So maintain your man card no matter what. Oh, I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid.
They get fluid.
Once go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card.
Yeah, I can't find a line or anything like that, but that was a really good line that he delivered. So jump down in the comments, let me know what you think, and remember, always keep it respectful and all that. State your piece and all and everything, but just keep it respectful. And this is Chris Bolt signing off, and I will catch you in the next video. You guys take it easy.